Should start now. It's a pleasure and honor to welcome Katyayani Bhatia today. She's from our 2011 batch, from the entire JUIT alumni self and from the entire family of JUIT. Katyayani, I feel very honored. I feel very proud, and I feel very nostalgic also today to welcome you and to be, to take out time from your busy schedule and to be here with us today. So, and I'm sure today from this session, all of us are going to learn a lot from you, and I'm sure you will have a lot of, experiences, memories, and a lot of, inspiration and a lot of motivation to give to the entire crowd and to the entire populace present here today for this session. So and through this session, I would also like to thank the entire JUIT alumni team, specifically our students who've been so active, so passionate, so determined, all with their energies and synergies into getting such beautiful speakers on board, and and they could actually get hold of you and put you on board here today. So a big applaud and big thanks to them. Also, we have our Dean and Director, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, here with us today. I welcome you, sir, and our very beloved Registrar, sir, Major General Rakesh Basi, who's also here. Thank you for being with us here, sir. And a warm welcome to Professor Saurav Bansal, who's also heading the JUIT alumni team. And I think under his guidance, we are really doing very well. The entire team is functioning beautifully. So a little word about Katyayani, though I'm going to fall short of words, but still, Katyayani is an officer of the Indian Revenue Services of the 2018 batch. And before joining the government services, she was also working with Microsoft, and she was also working with the State Bank of India. She's a very beautiful reader and ardent admirer of Indian handlooms. I've seen her on Facebook with all her beautiful saris, and she's also mentored students for a lot of competitive exams, and she also runs her own blog by the name The Melange. She's very passionate about gender issues, and as a probationer, she started the Gender Sanitization Center in Labasna, Mussoorie, and continues to contribute to gender issues. She has also co-founded Viraam, which also addresses gender violence. And I think she's going to talk about it today with us on that topic too. So talking about her achievements and talking about, all the laurels she's collected in such a small time. She was also awarded the Vice Chancellor's Gold Medal in 2011 at JUIT. She was also awarded the Director General's Gold Medal in International Taxation and Transfer Pricing at National Academy of Direct Taxes, Nagpur. And she's invited to do a lot of talks on gender issues and gender violence. I think she's been speaking volumes about the topic at different forums, at different events. And just to continuation of that, she was invited by Labasna, Mussoorie for holding panel discussions on gender for IAS probationers on International Women's Day in 2021. So that was just a little about Katyayani here. I would like Professor Saurabh to speak a few words. Saurabh?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Danu. Welcome, Katyayani.
Good morning, sir.
So, yeah, very good morning to everyone. I, Dr. Saurabh Bansal, would like to welcome our Registrar Sir, retired Major General Bassi Sir, and our Dean Academic and Research, Professor Ashok Gupta Sir, and all HODs who are present here during this alumni talk. I would also like to welcome today's speaker, Ms. Katyayani Bhatia, one of our alumni of batch 2011. And I would extend a warm welcome to all of our alumni who are here to to listen her. I would extend a warm welcome to all of my warmest greetings to all of my colleagues, students, and participants who are from other institutions. I would like to take this opportunity to brief you about the JOIT Alumni Cell. So the Alumni Cell is an entity that represents JOIT in alumni relations and strives to be a primary link between the university and its global family of alumni, committing them to lifelong learning, discovery, and participation, as well as attracting them to university service. We aspire to provide and support alumni programs and services, make it easier for alumni to communicate, and strengthen our alma mater ties. I am very delighted to inform you that over 7,000 students from diverse departments have graduated from the JOIT and are doing very well in their current positions. Our students have dispersed across the country and even internationally in quest of growth, learning, and knowledge over the last decade, and their achievements have left an indelible marks on the world. We are overjoyed that our students are emerging as successful individuals in nearly all aspects of their lives. I would also like to point out that an institution's reputation is built not only on its administration and teaching staff, but also on its alma mater's accomplishment and growth. So for us, there is nothing more exhilarating than celebrating the achievements of our students who have gone above and beyond. So Miss Katyayani is one of our distinguished alumni of batch 2011 from the branch Computer Science and Engineering, who is currently working as an officer in Income Tax Department of Government of India. As Dr. Tanu has already introduced about her accomplishment, including her passion about gender issues, we at JOIT admire her dedication to this particular issue to raise time to time, and her accomplishments and contributions inspire everyone. So she has proven to be an excellent role model for aspiring university students as well as tremendous source of motivations for teenagers. So on behalf of the entire JOIT fraternity, I congratulate Ms. Katyani on her achievements. Before we begin, I would like to applaud my students' executive body for organizing this alumni talk come webinar, which fosters a special bond between students and alumni who have already established themselves in the big and outside world. An alumni talk is an excellent opportunity for all students at JOIT to meet their alumni and learn from their experience. I hope you not only enjoy this talk but also learn a lot from her journey. And finally, I want to congratulate Ms. Katyani for on her accomplishments so far and wish her continued success. I also invite her to visit us on campus wherever she has free time, and we would love to acknowledge you and your accomplishment physically at your on campus. Thank you. So Atyani, make some plans to visit our campus.
Definitely, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Saurabh. Katyani, so you've got an invitation. Please come over.
Definitely, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. I would also like to welcome now Dean Academic and Research, Professor Ashok Kumar Gupta, to share a few words with us.
Thank you
Ashok,
so
sir.
much. Thank you, Tanu.
Anji.
I think this is the day for her, so I congratulate her, and I should not stand between you and all the participants. So let others listen to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Uh, uh, thank you, Gupta, sir. I'm sure Basi sir also has some few words for us to speak. Basi sir, over to you.
Okay, Katyani and the alumni who have joined on this webinar. Well, I think much of it has already been spoken by Tanu as well as by Dr. Saurabh, and I don't think I have anything in specific to add other than what I could manage to see from your records as a registrar, which I have some privilege of getting into the files. Uh, uh, I found that Katyani was a very bright student right through. She schooled out from St. Teresa Convent in Karnal, and with quite a high percentage from there when she joined the computer science department over here. And over here, of course, it was with the flying colors because she got the Vice Chancellor's gold medal. And not only that, as what Tanu mentioned, that she also got the Director General's gold medal in the domain in which she is working, that is the revenue services. And it's indeed a matter of pride. Let me tell you, when one normally gets involved in most of the administrative affairs, but when I did see Katyayani and her brief profile, if I may say, it almost compelled me that I must skip everything and be here, okay, to welcome one of our shining stars in the civil services domain of the nation for this event. And I'm sure that the audience is definitely going to learn a lot because she is a very versatile personality, as one has heard about her. And I'm sure even her father, Mr. Sanjay Bhatia, who's been a police officer, would be equally proud of her achievements and how she is climbing her steps of success. I wish her all the best, and I wish all the alumni a great listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Katyayani, I think I'm going to give the entire field to you now, all yours. And I think everyone sitting here is so, passionately waiting to hear you, hear your experiences. So all over to you, Katyayani.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Basi sir. I think I'm very grateful and very honored that all my faculty, past and present, has been so generous. And I would say I do not deserve such praise. Neither such words of, all the words of praise heaped onto me. I think life is just a series of coincidences and a series of learning. And that's what I would like to talk about today. But thank you so much, Basi sir. Thank you, Gupta sir. Thank you, Saurav sir. And thank you so much, Tanu ma'am. I think listening to you, listening to Amit sir really brought back those memories of sitting in our classes and sitting in our lecture halls. And your voice brought such a wonderful whiff of nostalgia, which I'm really grateful for. And I'm really hoping we can all talk and I can actually visit the campus physically. I wish this talk had happened in JUIT. Coming back to those portals always spells so much of happiness, and I would have been literally able to walk down the memory lane. So, as I start talking about a few of my experiences, I would just like to say a few things. I'll try to walk everyone through a few learnings I've had in my life, which might be very personalized, but I feel they have really shaped me into the person I am today. I really do believe that I'm not the right person for the alumni talk because I've cleared an examination. Probably I feel that I might be the right person for the alumni talk because I've had a lot of experiences in my life, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. I've tried to pull myself up through lows, and it's been an army of people who've surrounded me to lift me up from those experiences, my family, my well-wishers, and even the faith my institute had in me. I'll definitely be sharing how a few sentences, a few words said by my professors back at JUIT really helped me lift myself in those days, when I thought I cannot achieve things, I cannot go forward in life, I'm questioning my own basis. So definitely those experiences have shaped me. And ma'am, with your permission, I would like to start. Can I share my screen? I would like to share a few pictures. So when I thought about the alumni talk, I thought I should also walk you through a few pictures I've collated from my time at JUIT. We had really bad cameras then. We had no internet. We had an internet quota, and we had a very small phone memory. So picture quality is bad. Pardon me for that. And pictures are few. But whatever I could collate, I would like to show everyone that probably it'll help us relate to each other.
Yeah, sure, Katyayani.
So,
Please.
ma'am,
It's such a delight.
yes.
Yeah.
So yes, ma'am, is the screen visible? Ma'am, I think I cannot hear you.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
it is.
Right, sir. So this is the first image I have of JUIT. Actually, this is my room in the first year of college.
Huh.
And this was one of the partition rooms on the ground floor of Gita Bhavan. I think it was C37. And I would just like to start with a brief journey of how I reached here. So 2006 and 7. 7 was the year I joined JUIT. It was a very difficult year for me personally. On the personal front, we had multiple issues and challenges to tackle. My father was almost hospitalized for a major chunk of the year. He was battling a health issue. I lost my nanny just a few weeks before joining college. My bua back in the US had was battling malignancy, the final stage of malignancy. It was a tumultuous year for us. Um, as you know, I feel I should be absolutely honest while giving the talk. So yes, I also harbored the dream of joining the IIT. You know, like most of us do, a lot of us do. And I'll be absolutely honest, when the results came in, I was devastated. I just felt that, I should be dropping in here. Should I be, rejigging my preparation, restarting, have a relook at how, I'm seeing things. And amidst all of this, amidst all of the personal crisis, we just thought, we were in Delhi at that time. We just thought, why not visit Jaypee Noida? Because, that was so near Delhi. So we happened to visit Jaypee Noida and we happened to meet Madhuri sir. And, we poured out our concerns. My parents were very frank. We poured out whatever's, whatever was happening with us. The fact that I wanted to drop in here, the fact that also given all the trauma we endured in the past 1 year medically, that probably, we have to flow with life. Another thing happened that one of my father's very close friends, there's a restaurant in Delhi called Deepal's by the name Deepal's at Janpath. So he was the owner of Deepal's and he knew us very well. And uncle knew that Papa's not keeping well, whatever's happened. So he told us, one piece of advice he gave us. He was very spiritual. He said, आप जिंदगी में आते हैं. I'll just, pour in a few phrases of Hindi in between. I hope everyone's comfortable with that. That'll really capture the essence of what uncle said. He said, हम लोग आते हैं, हम cassette, जैसे हम उस पहले cassette होती थी. I don't know whether this generation has seen those cassette players or not because everything's digitized now. He said, cassette पहले से लिखी हुई है, हमें तो सिर्फ उसको देखना है. Essentially meaning that, life's written already. We are just going with the flow. We are learning. Our soul is learning experiences. We are going with the flow. So he told me, I had lost a lot of weight as well at that time, with all the stress, being a 17-year-old, not knowing what's happening. So he told me, beta, go with the flow. Don't question things. There's somebody protecting you. God is there. Universe is there. So we met Dr. Madhuri and, my mother was really concerned. She talked about the institute. She talked about the placements. We hardly had any knowledge of, how technical placements happen. My entire family is on the service side, in the government service side. So my mother, just asked a question, कि Accenture या Infosys में placement हो जाएगा इसके बाद. So Dr. Madhuri said, Mrs. Bhatia, why are you thinking about this? Why not Microsoft? And, just sir's positivity, sir's confidence instilled something in us. I don't know, what was that, but something just clicked in us. And we set out for Shimla. It was still, time before we joined college, but we set out for Shimla and we met Professor Tandon, sir and ma'am here. They were in the biotechnology department. And we met Hemant Sood ma'am. I believe ma'am is still there in the university at Jaypee right now. And, we met them. It was, I think, and then we met Brigadier Balbir sir. And it was almost like a homecoming, a home which I did not know existed. But it was something that made us believe that, probably coming here is the absolute right decision. And without thinking, we came back, made up our mind, packed our bags and, joined JUIT. So this was the first room and the first picture I'd clicked in JUIT when I joined college. So this was also, something which I've learned through life. There's effort, there is desire, there is, also we are striving to achieve things, but one has to go with the flow. It doesn't mean that one is fatalistic, one is working hard, but one has to stop resisting life. And this is something I really believe in even today. And as life taught me, as I'll be talking about later, my 5-year-long journey to crack the civil services examination is also this lesson reaffirmed for me. One has to stop resisting at some point. So this being the first picture. Now this is batch B1. My roll number was 071224. So we were 30 of us in this batch, 5 batches in computer science and 2 batches in information technology. So I was just looking at this picture yesterday and, brought back, apart from bringing back a rush of nostalgia, also this picture was clicked on a Saturday because Monday to Friday we were wearing uniforms. Saturday, I remember class was cancelled. We ended up sneaking up to the roof of the academic block, and this picture was clicked there while we were, waiting for lunch. So also I was pretty surprised, very pleasantly surprised to see that we're almost 8 girls out of this batch of 30 in this section. So I think that's a very, very, very encouraging gender ratio at a time in 2007. Very encouraging. I believe now, I'm pretty sure the gender ratio must be way above now. So this is something, another picture I found from the first year, which I would like to share. And also, how the diverse experiences I got at JUIT really helped me shape a lot of who I am, a lot of how I look at life, a lot of how I deal with, various aspects of life. This is something I joined in the first year. This is our IEEE team, a purely technical organization. We used to hardly understand, but hold conferences, try to participate in those conferences. Now in hindsight, I feel we understood so less. We were just freshers, but the enthusiasm was so high. This was one of the conferences in Delhi. I remember we traveled, this group of us, we traveled from Shimla, taking a night bus, reached Delhi, attended the conference and came back, all because of our enthusiasm to attend an IEEE conference, outside the 4 walls of our campus. So that was one of my first exposures to being a member of an organization and learning something, being a part of a team. And this, from here, I reached my second year. Sorry for sharing my room pictures, but this is all I had from my experiences. I shifted to a single room in Gita Bhavan because I also, given, the history I shared about how I decided to join JUIT, I had a very burning desire to redeem my own sense of academic worth. It might sound strange at this point, but I was so driven at that stage to tell myself that yes, I can also achieve academically. My experience of not clearing the IIT examination made me question my own sense of self. And it happens with a lot of us. We end up making an examination a marker of how we see ourselves. And that was a mistake I did. But I was lucky enough that my parents were guiding me at every step to not let it be a marker of how I actually see, but definitely it seeped in. And second year, I shifted to a single room because, I felt I should be studying more. I should be putting in more, more time studying. So I shifted on the first floor. I think it was C46. I do not remember very clearly now. So this was the second experience I think I had, which I feel JUIT literally gave me the canvas and the platform, which very few places could have. And, the implicit trust I felt between the faculty and the students at that stage really helped us grow, take experiences and have risks, where take upon risks where we could have really explored who we were. This is a picture from the India Today conclave. And we students used to be nominated to attend the conclave in Delhi. And it was an amazing event. Even if I look back today, the kind of exposure I got, I really got to see life beyond technical academics. Otherwise it was all technical world, being a part of IEEE or being a part of a technical organization. This was my first exposure to discourse, to dialogue, to discussions as to what is the power of conversation, which I really believe in today. I saw people who might be politically, ideologically rivaling each other otherwise take part in this discussion, be here, exchange ideas. And it was also my first experience of how the realm of ideas actually helps us grow, because that's where most of this thought germination happens. That's where most of our drive comes from, because it's only in the realm of thought where something strikes us and we start working upon it. And I still look back at this experience with so much of good nostalgia, happiness, and still excitement. I can still get goosebumps thinking about how we attended this. So we were 3 students each from Jaypee, all the 3 Jaypees. And apart from making lifelong friendships amongst our 9 people we met there, it was also a very good experience. So this was, now I'm just sharing a couple of pictures of the conferences we held at JP and JUIT rather. And this is one of our group pictures from a conference we organized for the International Mathematical Conference. And I remember, I think these were my first lessons in teamwork. This was also my first experience at staying away from home. And I've always, most of my life has been in small towns, and thus always at home. And staying away and then learning teamwork, being a team leader as well as being a team member, both come with a diverse set of experiences. Teachers, the power of listening, the power of conveying effectively, the power of actually working together as a team. So, a couple of pictures I found, the conferences we organized and the various members who attended it from all the different institutes. So just thought, I should be sharing this. I don't know whether the uniform looks the same, whether the academic block looks the same today, but I'm sure the enthusiasm looks the same. I'm pretty sure about that. So this was again another picture, which again is from one part of my life, which still holds very true. This is two of us are the deputy coordinators of the literary club, and the one to the right was the coordinator. And surprisingly, this also been a cathartic experience for me finding these pictures, because I did realize that a lot of passions I carry today in life, have been laid very firmly but very gently in JUIT. I had always been a voracious reader, but I'd always been consuming literature, reading. And literally JUIT gave me the first experience where I could be a content creator. We wrote, we talked about things, we discussed, we held events, we held plays. हमने बहुत कुछ किया लिटरेरी क्लब में, बहुत चीजें बनाई अपने हाथ से. आई डोंट नो, अगेन बहुत लोग आइडेंटिफाई इसलिए शायद ना करें आजकल. एवरीथिंग इज डिजिटाइज्ड. यू मेक अ पोस्टर, यू मेक इट ऑन अडोब और व्हाटएवर, जो भी सॉफ्टवेयर हैं, और आप प्रिंट ले लेते हैं. उस टाइम सब हाथ से होता था. मैं आपको एक पोस्टर दिखाऊंगी. हम एक एक चीज हाथ से बनाते थे. जो एक लिटरेरी क्लब का रियल एसेंस है ना, शायद मैंने इस टाइम पे जाना था. Because so much of debate used to be happening. I remember we used to come back to the academic block after dinner every evening and be discussing amongst each other, be talking about plays. We held a lot of plays in the campus. This was one of the posters. It's not a very pura picture nahi hai, bahut thoda sa hai, but everything we had made from hand. I remember kitne sare iterations lage the, बार बार हमने posters discard करे. So those were different times. I don't know whether those times will come again. We can even delete a WhatsApp message now. Everything is erasable. Things were different. And the happiness of जो mess है उसके बाहर एक notice board था. The happiness of seeing something in your handwriting on the notice board used to be different. I think one used to feel that we are also somebody. People will recognize us. एंड आई रिमेम्बर जब डेप्यूटी कोऑर्डिनेटर और कोऑर्डिनेटर का नाम लिखा जाता था नोटिस के नीचे वहां पे, तो ऐसा लगता था कि हम वी हैव अराइव्ड. वी यूज्ड टू फील द होल कॉलेज विल रीड आवर नेम एंड दे विल थिंक दैट वी आर आल्सो डूइंग समथिंग. सो दिस वाज वन ऑफ दोस पोस्टर्स वी हैड मेड फॉर अ प्ले. दिस वाज फॉर द फेस्ट 2009. वी हैड हैंड पेंटेड दिस बैनर एंड हमने एकेडमिक ब्लॉक में फर्स्ट फ्लोर के रेलिंग से इसको टांगा था. So all of those times, are different. This is all literary club. But, the really, I would say one thing I really learned in all of this was actually working with people, learning from people, absorbing different points of view. Because, life is actually a journey where हमें बहुत ज़्यादा different experiences मिलते हैं. And a lot of us, end up being, I for one was a person at times, who gets quick to judge experiences just by my own limited prism. I feel, this is what I feel, so probably, this should be right. Whereas, all of these experiences working in different, being a part of different teams really taught me how our strengths and weaknesses can be complemented, provided we are porous enough and provided we have the right group with us. Because, this is how life is. I mean, my spiritual belief today definitely tells me that, this is us, we are souls on a journey. We are here to take some lessons, and those lessons come in any form. It doesn't have to be a very cathartic spiritual experience for us to learn something. Very mundane things, very routine things also end up teaching us the most important lessons of life. This is also one experience, which I would like to talk about. I hope something like this is repeated once, COVID goes away. I think it was the first of a kind. The girls of our batch decided to go on a rafting trip to Rishikesh, and Neena Jindal ma'am had accompanied us to the trip. It was a wonderful trip. I think the one experience I remember is I have never been an adventure person, never ever. I've been very scared of all of this. And when my willingness was taken for this trip, my first reaction was obviously not. I mean, that was my clear and correct answer that I'm not cut out for all of this. My friends goaded me, my parents pushed me to, कि अभी नहीं करोगे तो इस comfort zone को दोबारा छोड़ना मुश्किल होगा. And all of us traveled in that the college bus to Rishikesh. We stayed there. We helped each other overcome our fears. A lot of us had fears of water. A lot of us had fears of height. And I think this was one of the most memorable trips I've taken in my life. Coming back, we honestly felt now that, I watched that movie. I feel we came back like Chak De, India ke jo team thi, Chak De girls jo thi us movie mein. We came back like that. We felt so victorious and we felt so good. I think a lot of us overcame a lot of our internal challenges. We bonded very well, definitely, but it was something, out of the blue, something which was just, born out of a conversation, a request, a pleading with the administration to please let us go. And I think it was something never to be repeated again. I've not done anything like this in my life ever since. So before I come on to this very, very hazy picture, also professionally, after the second year, I had applied for an off-campus placement and I joined IBM. So I was at IBM Gurgaon for an internship. And I would say, as I initially mentioned, that, life is also a series of a lot of coincidences. That, the team I was assigned to, I started working on something called remote desktop virtualization. So, today we all feel, everything's synced with the cloud. All of our pictures are automatically backed up. But at that time, there was nothing like the cloud. We are in times where everything was in a pen drive or a hard drive or, a phone ka memory chip. Nothing was backed up to the cloud. And there was a thing called remote desktop virtualization, which talked about how organizations can scale up their efficiencies by, virtually accessing their data, which was called a desktop, because हम desktop पे data save करते थे, तो उसको desktop बुलाते थे और virtually access, and remote because we are accessing it in some other location. So very luckily, I got to work on this team, and IBM, being a very hardware specific organization, was working in it. So I'll definitely talk about, how it shaped my life later on, how this coincidence shaped my life later on. So yes, I had a wonderful 5 weeks at IBM, came back to college in third year, and another interesting experience happened that given my 2 years of involvement in various activities, I really wanted to, contest for the post of the president of the Jaypee Youth Club, because, apart from the fact that I was so involved in various activities, I still had that streak of, being the first woman president of the club. And that really, motivated me that I should stand for the post. And I remember it was a very emotionally tough time, because I did realize over time that if I do end up contesting for this post, and if I do end up taking this office bearer post, I'll have to compromise a bit on my academics. And that was something which was making me very uncomfortable, because I was a complete nerd. I mean, apart from doing all of this, I was a complete nerd. In fact, in our academies, when we join the service, we have our service academies. There, this term is called a KTP. So a KTP basically means a keen type probationer, somebody who's really keen on studying. And in my academy in Mussoorie, they had rechristened KTP to Katyayani type probationer, because they used to feel, I do everything sincerely. मैं हर चीज को किताबें पढ़ के करती हूँ. So, but yeah, jokes apart, I was a nerd, a KTP even at that time. So a tough call. I spent a few weeks thinking about whether I should file my nomination or not. And then, as my, I reevaluated my priorities, and I skipped standing up for the post of the president. And then I got this opportunity before the fest of heading the finance committee. And I think, again, JUIT proved right. I had never anticipated or imagined in life that I'll ever be working in finance for the rest of my life. And now I'm with finance, with balance sheets, with profit loss accounts all through the day. Somebody had somebody told me in college that macro economics ठीक से पढ़ना, lifelong पढ़ना पड़ेगा, तो मैं ना मानती उस बात को. मेरे को लगता कि नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. But yes, that's also, so I think the finance committee was a marker for what had to come in my life. So it was a very nice experience. I have this picture with my with the nomination, and I think it was a very, very, I learned a lot. I really realized, how because finance committee is something, as all of you would realize, for the fest, it requires a lot of liaising with people outside the academy, learning, talking to them. And at that time, our college fest, the Leaf Fiestas, used to be like a festival. The academy used to look different. It used to smell different. Already, the smell of spring used to be so prominent. And the academy was a completely different place. ऐसा लगता था कि उन 5-6 दिन सिर्फ खुशी खुशी है academy में, बिल्कुल जश्न का माहौल, if I say, that's the term I would like to use. So I have one picture. So this is Lamba sir. I don't know whether sir is in the college anymore, but another interesting anecdote I would like to share about sir, that sir was the HOD of the ECE department, and I was in the computer science department. And we used to be so scared of sir because हमें लगता था सर बहुत strict हैं, but at the same time we used to respect him so much कि बड़ा एक सर का एक हम हमेशा सर को look up to करते थे. And I could never interact with sir because he never taught me. And I used to, almost feel excluded. जो आज के ज़माने में बोलेंगे FOMO, the fear of missing out. I used to feel कि मैं 4 साल में, Lamba sir would not know कि मैं कौन हूँ. I know, this sounds strange, but this is the kind of nerd I was. I used to feel कि I look up to him so much. I should once speak to him. And, this was the opportunity when I worked in the finance committee. एंड एक बार एक मीटिंग थी और सर ने मुझे नाम से बुलाया, उनको मेरा नाम पता था. आई फेल्ट माई पर्पज इज कंप्लीट इन दिस कॉलेज, सर नोज माई नेम, एंड आई फेल्ट सो अकम्प्लिश्ड दैट डे कि सर मुझे पहचानते हैं. सो देन फाइनली दिस वाज आल्सो आई थिंक प्रोविडेंस एंड कोइंसिडेंस कि आई हैड टू, जो फेलिसिटेशन हुआ वो मुझे सर ने ही इसमें ट्रॉफी दी थी. एंड दिस इज व्हाट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट. आई डोंट नो हाउ द फेस्ट लुक्स लाइक टुडे. That's how it used to look like at that time. So much of activity, so much of buzz all around, and also getting to eat our, all the stuff we used to eat in Shimla in the college every day. It used to look like a dream. Otherwise, कोई Saturday को शिमला जाता था तो we used to tell everyone कि आप momos ले आओ or bring something for us, bring sandwiches. Getting to eat food every day, getting to celebrate the fest, I think it was a very nice feeling. I would like to close my experience of the third year with one more picture, which has stayed with me throughout. I mean, that was a picture I had on my phone as well, because so my birthday happens to fall in January, and January in winters is frigid in Shimla. I'm not used to that cold, so I used to find it frigid. And that day on my birthday, it was a weekday, and we got ready, got to class, and जब हम tuck shop में थे, हमने देखा कि सामने वाली हिल पे स्नो दिख रही है. And much to our surprise, the moment we reached classes, within half an hour, we were told it's a snow day and classes are cancelled. You can travel to Shimla. So I have this picture from Shimla that day. This is on the Mall Road. And we traveled to Shimla. It was my birthday and one of the most amazing experiences I had. I think it was also the most spiritual experience I had because, I don't believe in the materialism of birthdays, but to believe कि उस दिन आपको एक ऐसा experience मिले, I think for me, it was a very, very different experience. Also, something which I would like to point out in this picture is this, which I noticed yesterday. I had forgotten about it. That मैं जब शिमला जाती थी, जब भी जाते थे महीने में एक बार, मैं न्यूज़पेपर लेके आती थी. I think, I never knew again that 5 साल सिविल सर्विसेज की तैयारी के लिए मैं रोज 3-3 अखबार पढ़ूंगी. तो I think मैंने कहीं ना JUIT ने हर चीज की फाउंडेशन लाइफ में मेरे बना दी थी. So coming on to this, so after the third year, again, I had applied for off-campus internships. And I applied to Microsoft. At that time, there was no Google as such. Google was Google, but it wasn't the Google we know as today because it was still starting up. और हैदराबाद में ही था, इंडिया में बहुत कम था. So Microsoft at that time used to be, there was no Apple. I mean, Apple was not the craze we see today. So Microsoft was a company, we always used to look up to. So I applied and started getting disappointed by mid of May, when I didn't hear from them. मुझे तब शायद मिस्टेकन बिलीफ में लगता था कि आप अप्लाई करोगे तो आपको इंटरव्यू के लिए बुला लेंगे. अब समझ आया है कि बहुत अलग होता है सब कुछ. बट सरप्राइजिंगली आई गॉट अ कॉल. And I got a phone call from them saying that they want to schedule an interview on a phone, because that's how interviews used to happen then. And I thought it'll be one interview. I started talking to them, and it was a series of 6 interviews, because that's how Microsoft is. I was drained. I hardly remembered, what happened. इतना ज्यादा ड्रेनिंग था, सोचा भी नहीं था कि 6 rounds of interviews में देने होंगे. I remember we had a lot of data structures asked in that interview, and Satish Chandra sir थे तब जिन्होंने हमें पढ़ाया था. It was so fresh in my memory, data structures at that time. And Amol sir थे, who had taught us C++. And I still remember when I was talking about in the interview, so many things from a lot of experiences in college came flashing back to my memory. And luckily I got through the interviews. After the 6th stage, I was so drained. It was almost 9 in the night, but I remember the interviewer told me, okay, when can you join for the internship? And मुझे समझ भी नहीं आया, मैं इतनी थकी हुई थी, मुझे लगा वो एक और इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाएंगे मुझको. And then he said, no, you have been selected for the internship. You can join. When do you want to join? So this was my cubicle at Microsoft. I was there for 8 weeks. And an interesting thing I noticed yesterday was that मैंने वहां पे न्यूज़पेपर से काट के एक लगाया हुआ है, it's a woman's world. So I do realize now that probably those streaks of gender equality were already in me, even though I didn't recognize at that time. They were already in me at that time. So this was our batch of 2010 Microsoft core interns. These are people from all walks of life, all colleges across the country, all streams. It was not limited to computer science, but it was a wonderful learning experience, if I may say so. Because, there's a tagline of the Jaypee group which says, no dream too big. And, I literally lived that thing post this experience. I used to believe I had cut it. मैंने JP group का एक बार कुछ यहाँ पे conference हुआ था, तो हमें वो pamphlet मिला था, flyer. So मैंने उसे काट के वो line अपने study desk पे लगाया हुआ था in the hostel, no dream too big. But, here I realized that, it's not, the limitations, as Richard Bash says, they only exist in our mind. It's not about getting a placement with Microsoft or Google. It's about, expanding your horizons. And आप अपना ड्रीम को उतना बड़ा करें और फिर उसकी मेहनत करें जितना आप सोच सकते हैं. पर अगर आप लिमिटेड फील करते हो अपने एक्सट्रेनियस सर्कमस्टांसेस से, that is only our own limitation. One of my really favorite books of all time, just for this reason, has been a very foundational book called The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. And that talks about the excellence of the human mind, as to what the human mind can create, nothing else can. और इस एक्सपीरियंस ने मुझे बहुत बताया. बिफोर दिस आई यूज्ड टू फील कि यहाँ कहीं प्लेसमेंट हो जाए, या आई शुड गेट अ पैकेज ऑफ दिस नंबर ऑफ लैक्स, और जैसे भी हम उसको बोलते थे. इसके बाद मैंने रियलाइज किया कि आईवी लीग इज अचीवेबल, MIT इज अचीवेबल, doing independent research is achievable. And I realized how the dots join in life. My internship experience in IBM was on remote desktop virtualization, as I said. That graduated to being called cloud computing over the course of time. And in Microsoft, they selected me. I was the only intern selected in cloud computing because I had a prior work experience in IBM on the same. And there were very few interns at that time who had ever worked in cloud computing. I was one of the people who worked on the Windows 8 team. And, I felt कि कितना life में हर चीज incrementally add upon करती है. So, one has to trust the path, let go, but keep working hard. There is absolutely no substitute to working hard. But there's also no limit to how much one can dream and achieve in life. Achieve में देखिए, I always say, I'll be talking about that later on, that achievements are, according to me, there are two. One is the outward, the materialistic, and one is how you grow along with the process. But as to dreaming big in life, aiming for change, expanding your own horizons, learning things, I feel definitely no dream is too big. So, sharing this picture of Microsoft, and then of course came back to college, and this is from our TNP sessions that we used to hold. That was probably my last office bearer post in college, being a part of the TNP team. So this is one of the sessions we had held. And also from what I learned in Microsoft and the way I wanted to expand my own limitations and horizons, the first step at that time, as I saw it, was research. I wanted to go into cloud computing research. And the first step was, I don't know whether students, are still opting for that. We had a tie up with the University of Florida, and we used to go there. We could go there for a semester, and I applied for the same. So this was my last semester effectively in college. And just sharing the last picture from college, I have a picture from, I had organized my own scribbling day. There's this tradition where you scribble on each other's t-shirts to keep messages from friends for posterity. And luckily, because of being in JUIT, we had our official shirts. So I'd organized a scribbling day. I think this is the first floor of the academic block, and मेरी सारी shirts को हमने scribble किया था. So finally, I reached University of Florida, and it was definitely an even grander experience than I had anticipated professionally. Intellectually, it was very empowering. There was a lot of recognition of merit. One could really take up independent streams of research, which I'd also felt in JUIT, because there was a lot of academic freedom to choose what one wanted to study, choose what one wanted to research on. Very few limitations imposed. And here also I felt the same. It was a very good experience being here. I also worked as a research assistant here for 4 months, again on cloud computing. So that streak continued, the cloud computing bit continued till the end of my technical career, I should say. And definitely another picture from Florida I could find. By this time we had a camera, because we went to the US, so hum camera leke gaye the. So I'd borrowed my father's camera, so we had some pictures at this time. And yes, winding up the JUIT bit of my journey, I'm sorry if I'm taking too much of time with the picture of our batch logo. This was what our t-shirts read, we lived the dream. So I think, yes, in a lot of respects, our batch did that. Individually as well, we did that. And, the experience has also been very profound, in a lot of aspects, because of one other, thing I would like to touch upon. इसके कभी हम लोगों ने शायद मैंने तो I can speak for myself. I never saw the college as, a brick and mortar only. Number one, the first experience outside home, and one develops a very strong umbilical connect, with the institution. The second I felt was, we had our own culture. It was more than just the bricks, just the people, just the buildings. That bits of that culture we still take forward in life. Just to talk about a few things which might interest everyone, and also will take me down the memory lane. That as we're approaching this the Valentine's week, I remember when we were in college, every year on Rose Day, we used to get roses from the vice chancellor. Every girl in the college used to get a rose from the vice chancellor. I think, we have never, I don't think any other, any flowers in life can make us feel that special as getting them from the vice chancellor on the day of the Rose Day made us feel. Those something which I implemented in my academy very recently in NADT in Nagpur was, we used to, because we couldn't leave campus because we were kids. So, हम लोग एक movie देखते थे. I think आप लोग भी देखते होंगे, movie club auditorium में movies दिखाते थे. So all the movies that used to release, I remember way back in 2007 watching Jab We Met with the batch, and how the batch went crazy with watching that movie. And that's what we started doing in academy in Nagpur. Due to COVID, Nagpur being a hotspot, we couldn't leave the academy. And for the safety of everyone, sabko andar rehna tha. So we converted our auditorium into a movie night every Friday. And when this idea took off, and everyone asked me ki kaise socha. So I told them, this is what we used to do in college. And also getting popcorns and momos from Shimla. And so it's a completely it's a completely different culture. I feel the way we connect with people after leaving college, the way we connect with our professors, that's really very, very fundamental in defining how we are in life today. you आपकी सोहेल सर के साथ talk हुआ था a couple of weeks back, I guess. And me and Sohail sir, when we connected, even though we belong to the same professional network, we connected on the first thing कि हम JUIT से हैं. And that's how fundamental this has been. We share other institutions as well, other academies as well, but JUIT is really a binding factor. The way we talk about it, the way we look at it, it's been very, very fundamental. So yes, so after I graduated, I was very confused. Honestly, I the civil services streak was there in my mind because I'd seen my parents in that profession, but I was still very confused, seeing that outwardly, definitely I was doing well in the technical field, so I was not very sure that would it be something I would like to do for the next 40 years of my life or not. So I took an year to decide. I'll be honest. एक साल लगा मुझको वो final
Money talk.
decision, I think. Yeah, so एक साल लगा मुझको वो decision make करने में. So at that time, I also spent some time at Jaypee Noida with the placement cell there, because I felt that I possessed some experience with regards to off-campus placements, because I never sat for on-campus placements, and I had tried to approach everything with on the off-campus route. So I felt that given the proximity to Delhi, it might be a very good idea to start from there, because companies can come in easily. अब तो सब कुछ online हो जाता है, तब नहीं हो पाता था. So I worked with the students and the placement cell there. So I guess now, as a continuing tradition, we have Amazon coming in campus for regular placements every year. So we all try to make some effort towards that end in that year. And post that year, I was very clear. I could have joined University of Florida for a PhD. I could have joined ISC Bangalore for research in cloud computing. But then I took the call of going completely deep into civil services, because I realized that this is really where, I see myself, I would want to see myself for the next 35, 40 years. And it's been a very transformational journey for me. It's been something which has really defined me and how I see life, I would say today. So I did start the preparation in 2012, and I wrote the exam 2013 onwards. I've also shared a lot about it, on my blog, about, how the experience has been, how I also missed clearing the exam with a very minuscule margin 4 times. And those 4 times have been, what defined me. So today, if somebody asks me, what's more defining, those 4 times or the 5th time you actually, cleared the exam, I would say the 5th time was like, the Everest Sohail sir climbed, that, it gave me the platform to talk about those 4 times. But as a person, उन 4 सालों ने मुझे बहुत मुझे सिखाया, मेरे को बहुत define किया. And I would say, when I talk about any career option, any goal in life or anything, I would say it's not about, आप worldly success तो बहुत metrics में हम उसको we can measure it in a lot of metrics. But, the churning that goes in, the voice that tells you, because I've been through it in a very, 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 very dark times I've been through in this preparation. The times you start questioning yourself, the times you start questioning whether were you made for it. Because, that's how we are all in a society which judges us by some metrics, and that's absolutely fine. If I have to also select people for my office, I look at academic accomplishments. Those are metrics we all agree to, because that's how the order of things is. But do they define a person? I do not think so. I feel, as we say, sincerity over competence any day, because those are those core foundational values that take you through life. And that's what I realized. 2016, I remember I had missed clearing a stage of the exam by a very small margin. And, for me, it was catastrophic. I just thought that should I be abandoning this dream and, I was very clear I cannot go back to the technical field. I'd lost touch. And I realized that my core nature was more towards the arts, liberal arts, history, philosophy, geography. Those were my core nature. So it was a very, very, very tough time for me, especially 2016, because I could have written the exam 2 times more. But that's what I started thinking. I still remember it was a September afternoon. And I couldn't stop crying, but I just thought, is it something which I feel I can crack, but I cannot? Because, clearly missing the exam by a point 1 or a point 2 marks does not mean that you lack knowledge, but it means that you somewhere lack the confidence, or, the ability, or not the ability to crack the exam, but the right attitude. बिकॉज हर चीज को एक देखने का एक तरीका है, एक एटीट्यूड है, और अगर आपके अंदर वो फेल होकर उसको उससे उठने के लिए वो एटीट्यूड नहीं है, वो आपका फियर इतना प्रोमिनेंट है, तो क्या आप वो सही इंसान हो? अभी तो एग्जाम क्लियर करना है, कल तो इतने मुश्किल डिसीजंस भी लेने होंगे. डू आई हैव द मेटल एंड द परसिवरेंस दैट आई कैन गेट थ्रू दिस? So, I took time to introspect. I again thought about it, what is easier for me and what is tougher for me. And, I remember 2016 दिसंबर में मैंने सोचा कि if जब तक मैं एग्जाम लिख सकती हूँ मैं उसको लिखूंगी. एंड दैट इज द डे व्हेन आई विल मैं हार मानूंगी कि ठीक है, नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ, बट this is the perseverance and grit I cannot give up in life. If something has defined me and that is my perseverance, I cannot give it up just because I feel it's tough or I'm not able to do it. I have to bounce back from it. And 2017, the year I wrote the exam, when I cleared the exam, has been really, really transformational, because getting over your own fears, getting over your own limitations is something I've actually lived. I mean, I can really talk about it, and I think we'll keep it for some other time because it'll go on very long. But that's something I really feel कि आप लाइफ में हम कितनी चीजों में सोचते हैं कि we've reached the end, be it professionally or personally. But उन moments में अपने आप को वहां से निकाल के सोचना कि कुछ भी हो जाए आपको करना तो है. It's I don't know whether it's easy or difficult. It's all, it's different for everybody. But for me, it would have been easier to give it up at that time and think, because, self-pity is a very addictive cycle, Going into a cycle of self-pity is easy because when you are the victim, everything seems plausible, You feel कि ठीक है, मैं तो victim था, मेरे साथ नहीं हुआ, मेरे साथ गलत हो गया, life was bad to me, life was rude to me. But challenges never end. It's not about clearing the examination, and life doesn't get rosy overnight. Challenges will keep on coming in different forms. तो उस चीज से कैसे उभरना है, ये हम सबको अपना तरीका निकालना है, पर चीज को छोड़ना नहीं है, चाहे वो किसी भी प्रोफेशनल स्फीयर में हो. ये मैंने बहुत सीखा उसमें. And of course, 2015, in the middle of my civil services preparation, I also joined a wonderful organization called the State Bank of India, which gave me a very wonderful experience also working, during the time of demonetization, and getting to know perspectives from the other side. And surprisingly, the field I'm in today, it's actually understanding how the banking system has worked really helps me take better decisions today. So just quickly taking you also through my journey of, the next few years post JUIT. So this is during one of my trainings at the State Bank of India office in Hyderabad. This is 2016. And this is finally when I reached my academy in Mussoorie at Labasna. So this is the academy where people from all the services who clear the civil services examination are trained together. So this is 2018, when I reached Mussoorie, definitely it felt like a moment where I felt I'd arrived, even taking apart the materialistic aspect of things, I did feel, the sense of peace, accomplishment, and relief I felt reaching here. Hard to put in words, really hard, but of course, an enormous responsibility on the shoulders as well. This is my academy with my service logo in Nagpur, with our official, this is the official sari of our service. Every service has its own representative sari for women and bandgala for men. So this is one of those. And another moment, which I felt in my service is like a very defining moment, reaching North Block. For me, I was deputed on a duty to North Block. So this is a very recent picture. So just trying to wind up with also something I realized over the time, and I started getting more vocal about. This was my gender sessions, a very short background of, how I have been propelled to think about gender and what I think about it. We are two sisters. I have a younger sister and we have no brother. It's just two sisters. And I've grown up in small towns in Haryana. And, my mother are three sisters. But try as you might, the society does influence you. And I was always grown up, listening, even though my family, I would say, has been on the liberal end of the spectrum of, how there's no son to carry forward the family name. So, as a counter to that, or as a solution to that, I carry my father's name. I write my name as Katyayani Sanjay Bhatia. My sister carries my mother's name. She puts my mom's name, Neera, with her name. This was our way of, talking about how it's about, taking responsibility and caring for your family rather than having a different chromosome, which takes helps you take forward the family name. But of course, talking about gender openly happened over time. I was in Mussoorie where, we started talking about gender. I started a series of informal talks. And this is one of those very early talks, where my batchmates and I are sitting and we are discussing and debating various aspects of how we see gender in everyday life, how we can understand better also aspects related to different aspects including menstruation, consent. So this is one of our early talks. This was another talk I had with the staff there. And finally, this was again a moment where I felt honored. I was called back to my academy in Mussoorie, the same academy which trained me, the same academy which was my alma mater, like JUIT. And the way I'm feeling today, to talk, to be on the stage on the other end and talk about gender. So this happened last year. And this is something I've recently started as, an adjunct to my professional responsibilities, an initiative called Viraam, where we believe in the power of conversations and we talk about violence which is non-violent, basically touching upon violence in gender, which does not have to do with, physically beating up somebody, but emotional and psychological abuse, which is oft neglected. It happens on the subaltern side. So it's a very small initiative by us, me and a batchmate, to start talking about all of these experiences. So I think majorly this is, this would be, winding up my talk about, my experiences in life. But definitely, I feel the experiences go much beyond here because for me, it's about learning, learning from life. I just realized Hemant Sood ma'am is here. She was one of the first persons I'd seen and met in JUIT. So wonderful to see ma'am. So yes, I think this is a literal chronological walkthrough in my life. But I just feel, and of course, I'm very thankful to a lot of experiences in JUIT. Especially learning here, dreaming big. I mean, if I have to take one takeaway from JUIT, right from the day I went to Jaypee Noida for the first time to meet Dr. Maduri, it's no dream too big. That's what everybody reaffirmed in me when I felt low. And I'll be very honest, there were a lot of moments in my civil services journey where I felt that probably, I cannot clear this examination, or, probably I'm not cut out for this. That's how we start thinking. And, a lot of what my professors used to tell me in JUIT, the faith they had reformed in me really pulled me up on those days. And, being in continuous touch with a lot of my faculty at JUIT really gave me that boost. But more than that, I hope I take forward the culture of JUIT, the culture of being a family, the culture of being there for each other, irrespective of whether you're a student or a faculty or you are, a staff in JUIT. I hope I'm able to live up to those ethos. And I hope, even if I'm able to tell one person in life that there's no dream too big, I think my job, on this planet is done to an extent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katyayani. You've been through the entire JUIT 4 years, and it was, a walk, all the way back for all of us present here. I think many people, a lot of us faculty members are here. Sunil Kha, pleasure to see Nina and Hemant ma'am to be here. And yes, JUIT has been, it's it's not only for students but our faculty members also. It's such a combined, such a beautiful family. No matter where you go, no matter how much you crib, but then JUIT is one thing which which pulls you back, which holds you, and you are, all ready to give to the institution as much as you can. And yes, we are into our Valentine Day and into the week, and we really miss our roses, we really miss our chocolates. We, the snow day was the highlight. At those times we used to rush to Brigadier Balbir saying ki barf gir gayi hai, chutti de do, humko jana hai. But I think Brigadier Balbir was more enthusiastic if chutti and come to snow. And then we all used to gather outside the auditorium, but we still celebrate the aura, the culture, the warmth is still there. It's the same, Katyayani. And I'm sure when you are going to come, you would find that the college has been same. We, it's the same warmth, it's the same pleasure, it's the same passion. And I hope so we've lived up to that, the entire team here. So Katyayani, lots of questions coming your way, and so many of students have put their questions here. So I don't know how many of them I'll be able to take, but the first question comes from Ishan. He asks that what is your day-to-day work life? So Hemant, can we have your question first? Yes, Hemant.
Yes. Hi, Katyayani. It's always lovely to have you. Always lovely to hear from you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Same here,
Good.
ma'am. I've been trying to, I asked Achyut a few days back, so he told me you are still with JUIT. So I was so excited, and I thought I was just hoping for this opportunity to be able to meet you.
No, we thankful to Dr. Saurav, Dr. Tanu, and the whole very team of alumni, which definitely take you out of the Facebook thing to live discussion. So, dear, we are so proud of you. And I still remember that timid, sweet girl when she landed my PTC lab with her parents.
Yes, ma'am.
No doubt, dear. Beyond those memory lanes, and you are such a successful icon, not only in career wise but as a human. I probably expect you would be having a many more in your coming times. There is no question, dear, you are answering everything without even asking a question. I think so that is the role of best orator, Hana? And that what you have done so justifyingly.
Thank
So
you.
all my blessings to you, dear. No question, only my blessings. Keep
Thank
up
you
the
so
good
much.
work. Keep us proud as you always do.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
team
ma'am.
Alumni. Thank you, dear.
Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hemant. Yes. So, Katyayani, what is
Ji,
your
ma'am.
day-to-day work life?
Yes, thank you, Shan, for the question. So I'm currently posted in Delhi, and I'm in the revenue service. So basically, I'm in the income tax service. So here our work is majorly assessing the income. So when you file your ITRs, the assessments are done by us. We also investigate into aspects of where somebody has evaded income, evaded tax on income, or has concealed income. So this is basically our work role. My work day is somewhere around. So basically, I have a charge which comprises the central and west Delhi. So that is my jurisdiction at present. It's a business charge. So around, my work day starts at 10 in the morning. I start work around that time, and yeah, my charge involves a lot of public dealing. So it's a continuous stream of assessees and their representatives, which includes the chartered accountants coming to my office through the day. And I try to wind up my work by 6 in the evening so that my staff goes home on time. So it's just it's a hectic day that way. But a lot of our public dealing involves people coming with their grievances, their income tax grievances, their refunds, their judicial issues pertaining to the department. So that is primarily my work, and that is primarily what I do. So a lot of my work involves giving a patient ear to somebody who's come, with any grievance or anything that's been stuck for long, very quickly. But I had a very interesting and blessed experience some time back. I just joined this new charge, and a very old person, he was 87 years of age, he came to my office. He wanted to get some rectification in his wife's PAN card. And I felt really bad. COVID cases were already increasing. I asked him, why did you come here, sir? So he told me, we need to dispose of some property. We need the correct PAN details. So, I ensured that his work was done on the same day. The next morning when I wake up, I get a message from him blessing me, saying that, it's almost like a daughter who completed the work for him. So, you get a lot of opportunity to work for a lot of things in this role. But yes, more or less, this is my work day, and I'm very, I would say, coming into the service, I've become very physically active, very outdoor. So my day starts at 6 in the morning with a lot of workouts. So that's how my day progresses. But work days usually 10 to 6 or 7. Sometimes it's the weekend as well. So it depends. It depends absolutely on how things are.
Okay, lots of appreciation for you, Katyayani. Almost everyone has loved your talk. Very inspirational, very motivational, and everyone is sending a lot of applause there. Right? We've got another question from Gurleen. I think she's asking, ma'am, during your civil services exams preparation, how did you manage your low points? Any changes you made in your schedule to manage that?
Hi, Gurleen. Thank you for this question. So yes, I did find my own ways and means to get over that feeling of, feeling low. One was the outward changes which I made. So I remember whenever I used to, feel low or feel bad, I used to change a lot of things in my room, my physical surroundings. I used to just ensure that, I start on a clean slate again. So I remember in my room, every time I used to feel low and get back to things, I used to just rejig the entire, I used to change the position of the bed. I used to bring new plants into my room. Those were the things that actually helped me get over the drudgery of how, I was
Be
associating
allowed
a
to
particular
say a few
setting with a
words.
mood. But also the thing as to how I got back in my schedule, I used to reaffirm my goal, I mean, for me, that was paramount. Every time I used to make a call, cost benefit analysis between giving up and still striving for my goal. And that used to be very, very, that used to be transformative, because it's very easy when we are feeling low to give into the temptation of giving up and feeling that, life has been unfair to us and things have ended for us. But getting out of that self pity mode, getting back into a schedule really helps. So I feel, the moment one writes down things, and see, देखिए मुश्किल समय हर के पास आएगा प्रोफेशनली कभी. It's a sine curve. It cannot be an exponential curve. And I'm pretty sure किसी को exponential curve अच्छा भी नहीं लगेगा प्रोफेशनली. तो वो साइन कर्व ही है जो हमारे को सिखाता है. बट मेरे लिए वो जो इंटरनल होता था ना, इंट्रोस्पेक्शन, कि अपने गोल को सामने देख कर कि क्या इसको मैं छोड़ने के लिए तैयार हूँ, that used to really help me get back to things. And of course, changing a few things outwardly helps, but go within. I would say that was the best thing.
Thank you, Katyayani, and I'm so much honored, so much delighted, and I'm so happy
Yes,
to welcome Professor Meduri here. Sir, please.
good
I
afternoon, sir.
don't know what to say. It's such a delight to have you, sir. It's so wonderful to see you after such a long time, and we were just remembering you. And
But Tanu, no. Don't take the whole thing away. Katyayani's day. In fact, I
No,
got the
sir.
message saying I got the message saying the talk is at 2 o'clock. But then Sudhir Sial messaged me saying he's listening on to Katyayani's talk. So I said I must pop in. Because after all, these were students who joined us when we were there way back in 2007, etc. I mean, last week I think Suhail also talked, and I missed out on
yes,
that.
sir.
So it's a delight, Katyayani, what you have actually done, what you have become, and what you are going to go further in life. It's absolutely, I think, an inspirational journey. And we look forward maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the road when you are one of the top finance officers in the country, Okay. I think
Sir, I'm honored, sir. So my talk started with you, and my talk couldn't have been complete without frequent references about you, sir. So you were the one who ensured and was instrumental in me dreaming big in life. I think, sir, your messages, and I wanted to say this, but I was looking at the clock all the time, so I had to cut short a lot of things I thought of talking about. But even today, when I get a birthday wish from sir, it makes my day. That one single message from sir is so instrumental in ensuring that my year goes well. So there's absolute respect and gratitude towards you, sir, and thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining, sir.
Thank you, Katyayani. Thank you. God bless you. Stay blessed always. And a big hi to all my colleagues at JP.
Good afternoon, sir.
JP.
Good afternoon.
Thanks
Good
for the
afternoon,
exit.
sir.
It's
Thanks for
really
the
nice to
exit.
see you after a long
Please listen to Katyayani. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, sir. I don't know. I'm all lost. Okay, let's go to the next question. A lot of questions here. Arnav Katyani, he's asking, what's one advice you have for the young generation to come as we progress in our career paths? One
Hi,
advice.
Arnav.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So Arnav, I would say one thing which I have followed is to stay true to what you believe in. I would say that don't aim for a career or don't stick in a career where your heart is not there. For me, when I made the choice of leaving the technical and coming back to civil services, which had been an initial goal for me, it was truly inspired by the feeling that this is where I really belong. This is where my passion is, and I do have a lot of passions apart from my own career. I have a lot of hobbies, but I would say that primarily my passion is my work. And if I'm not true to my work, if I do not feel compelled enough to give in my best every day, it would be an exercise in nullity. Honestly, because in a career, to give you 100%, there is no midway. It has to be either towards 100%, or it's something which you're doing just for the sake of doing. So I would say yes, be very clear about the career. But something else I would like to say is it's never too late to change a career in life. It is not. I've seen people change careers at even past what we consider to be a retirement age at 60. So start a career, start whatever you feel like. If you don't feel compelled that this is something you would like to do for the rest of your life, for the next 10, 20, 40 years, change your career. The biggest strength in this world, I feel, is intent and competence. And where intent and sincerity, when intent and sincerity join hands, I feel no career is difficult to pursue. But we need to be that convinced for that career. So find your calling, take different experiences, find your calling, and be sure about what you want to do.
Thank you, Katyayani. We've got another question from Divya. He's asking, did you prepare for the civil services while working in a job, or did you dedicate all your time for the preps alone?
Yes, so Divya, when I started, I was preparing full time. But as my preparation progressed, and unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't clear the exam initially. So I did take up a job in the State Bank of India. It was through a competitive examination, as other examinations are. So 2015, when I was two attempts down in civil services and hadn't cleared, I started writing other examinations as a backup option. So I cleared a few of those examinations, and amongst those, I joined the State Bank of India. So post that, it was with the job. But I had already spent around 3 years preparing, so I had the basic hang of the syllabus. So yes, it was a 50-50 for me through the examination.
Katyayani, I asked the same question to Suhail also. He did not give me a very, a long reply to that, very short one. And I'm going to put the same question to you. One slogan or one quote which keeps you going on.
So, ma'am, I'll take the liberty, if I can, of saying answering with two quotes. Ma'am, one has been transformational for me, and that is "No dream too big," because that's what I've thought every time I've thought about JUIT or even any other career option in life. That stayed with me all throughout. And the second would be from my favorite author, Richard Bash. He writes a lot on spirituality, and one quote says that argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they are yours. I feel, that's really pulled me through in life, because I realized that all the limitations I keep on imposing are something which, belong to me. It's all a construct of the mind rather than those being real limitations for me.
Thank you. So, Katyayani, I would also like to talk to you about Viraam. and I would like to know that what exactly you are doing there, and what are specific gender issues or gender violations you are concerned about, and how can we all contribute to it if we can,
Yes, ma'am.
and what is the India's position on it at present?
So, ma'am, Viraam basically started between me and a batchmate. She is posted in West Bengal. We, through a lot of experienced feelings and cases, we spoke to a lot of people, and we did realize that we talk a lot about gender violence in India, especially with a lot of legislations, the Domestic Violence Act coming in. There's a lot of conversation. I don't say that all the domestic violence gets reported, but still there's a lot of conversation. But as we are progressing as a society, there's a lot of abuse that happens in the realm of thought, in the realm of psychology, in the realm of emotions. There's a lot of emotional abuse. And as we see, as we independent women end up entering relationships or marriages, we do realize that, the gender differential still exists. It might have changed hands from it being absolute persistent violence to something which is more latent, which is more emotional, which is more psychological. So that was where we tried to start Viram, to start a conversation on all forms of non-violent violence, which women are scared to speak about, because a lot of women feel that this violence, because it does not lead to any physical manifestation. If I'm emotionally abused by a person, I cannot show a scar or a slap mark to show how I'm abused in that relationship. So for all of that, we started to have a conversation on all of these forms of latent and subliminal gender violence. And that's how Viram came in. Basically, the name suggests that it's a full stop to this violence. There might not be a lot of solutions to this form of violence, because to facing emotional or psychological abuse, a separation is probably not the solution. There is no legal solution to it. But there are definitely solutions in terms of counseling and talking, at least telling the people who face such abuse that this abuse is not normal. What you're facing is wrong. We are there to listen to you. We might not be able to give you a legal solution out of it. So, ma'am, this is basically what Viram is about. But also, one thing which I feel very strongly about in the current context is the gender data gap, which our society is facing at this point, which was highlighted also during the COVID pandemic. Ma'am, gender data gap basically is where there's not enough data on all the genders to help make better policy decisions. And one example which we saw recently was the COVID PPE kits, where the PPE kits are designed for a European male 5'10" in height. So the COVID pandemic actually showed us as to how our public health system is not giving the same parity to male and female and other gender practitioners, because those PPE kits are not designed for women. And this gender data gap exists at all spheres. If we talk about policy, if we talk about ambient AC temperatures in offices, so this is basically a gap where we do not give enough importance to the experiences of the females and the other genders, and do not tune our policies accordingly. And that is where I feel, as professionals who are entering, also as the students are entering the professional field, that is somewhere we need a lot of data research on, and to bridge that gender differential. Probably I feel it will have a lot of domino effect in also addressing the gender pay gap that professional societies are facing at present, ma'am.
Thank you, Katyayani. Just we are about to wind up the
Tanu,
session. Yes, sir.
एक,
Good afternoon, sir.
on this gender issue, I was listening to all these things that there are government policies, other things.
Ji, sir.
Katyayani, why nobody is giving attention to the change of mindset? Because if mindset changes, only then things will improve. You have a lot of rules, legislations, but on the field, on the ground, nothing is implemented actually.
Yes, sir.
What people should, I think people should do, they should give stress on mindset. If the mindset of the people change, then they will see everything equal.
Yes,
Otherwise,
sir.
they are forced, they are actually told, they are taught to see things in two different prospects. She's a female, you are a male. It starts from that. Why nobody is giving attention to this? Are
Definitely,
you
sir.
doing something on this?
Yes, डेफिनेटली सर, आई एब्सोल्युटली अग्री, बिकॉज बिहेवियर चेंज एक सबसे, किसी भी गवर्नमेंट स्कीम की हम बात कर लें, चाहे वो बी इट इन द प्योरली सोशल स्कीम, बी इट अ स्कीम इन द realm of gender, I feel a behavior change is the starting point for all change, because any legislation is as good as how the society takes it, and we have to keep in pace with society to bring in any legislation. So if we look at also the history of gender legislations in our country, we feel that, you know, any legislation which comes at a premature time is something which the society does not accept, and the legislation does not serve its purpose. So sir, definitely I feel they have to go hand in hand, it cannot go without the same. तो सर, जेंडर में आई फील कि कोई भी जो चेंज है वो रेवोल्यूशनरी नहीं हो सकता. एक चेंज को सस्टेनेबल होने के लिए इट हैज टू बी एक्सेप्टेड बाय द सोसाइटी, एंड दैट चेंज कम्स इन जनरेशनल फॉर्म्स. If I talk about my parents' generation and my grandparents' generation, I do see a lot of changes. And if I talk about myself, I feel, you know, my expectations as a woman are very different from what my mother had when she was my age. So, sir, definitely change has to come through a generation, through a social change. And sir, I do feel through some legislations, change is also coming in the way we are thinking. So if I might take an example, something, you know, as something as basic as a scheme called Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or a selfie with daughter are examples where, along with the legislative changes, we're also trying to involve the society, where the society can, even if they do it for being a part of a scheme, but they're also participating in something which gives a greater chance for them to be gender equal. So सर, मुझे लगता है हर स्कीम का जो कंपोनेंट है जिससे हम बिहेवियर चेंज इंड्यूस करते हैं, वो हर स्कीम में इस टाइम पे बहुत प्रोमिनेंट है. सर, जैसे हम व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट स्कीम्स फॉर एलपीजी इन इंडिया, this the scheme takes the woman as the head of the family, उसके नाम पे वो कार्ड बनता है. So these are very very small but incremental changes which seep into the mindset that the woman also has agency. The woman is also not invisible. She might be invisible in the family, but she is recognized by the government. And I feel in a country like India, if a woman gains recognition from the government, that itself is a very strong marker for the family to realize that she is also an entity in herself and she also has an agency. तो सर, मैं अपने own पे जो effort कर रही हूँ, सर, जैसे आपने पूछा, so this effort by me called Viraam is a step in the same direction where we are talking about how mindsets can change. क्योंकि हमने रियलाइज किया है कि सर, लड़के तो बहुत हद तक वहीं पे रहे अपने सोच में, सारे नहीं, आई वुड नॉट वांट टू जनरलाइज, बट लड़कियां सोच में बहुत आगे निकल गई हैं. तो सर, उस गैप को ब्रिज करने के लिए वी आर ट्राइंग थ्रू आवर सीरीज ऑफ टॉक्स. वी होल्ड अ टॉक एवरी ऑल्टरनेट वीकेंड, एवरी फोर्टनाइट वी होल्ड अ टॉक with either an academic or a person from a sphere of gender. So recently we had a talk with the president of UN Globe. So we are trying to bring in conversation on these aspects of gender into the mainstream, ताकि हम सब compelled हो सोचने में कि हमारी छोटी छोटी चीजें कैसे gender stereotype को आगे बढ़ाती हैं.
Thank you, Katyayani. I think
Thank you.
your questions been answered. The session is about to end. I think we are exceeding our session. So, jaldi se, Sudhir sir raised his hand, and so did Vivek sir. Please, Vivek sir, Sudhir sir.
Thank you, Katyayani. This is actually a wonderful seminar and a very nice discussion. Just one comment. Actually, I was thinking when you were here in JUIT, you were always very close to Mala madam. So I was thinking that you are from Shimla and her relative. So first time I came to know that you are from Haryana.
So actually one of the, I would say an honor for me always is to be asked whether I'm related to Mala ma'am, because even on a lot of pictures people ask me that I resemble her so much.
Yeah.
Absolute honor for me every time. So, sir, I think, sir, I had an umbilical connect with ma'am, if not through blood, you know, but she has been a mother figure for me throughout and even beyond JUIT, sir.
Nice. Do come over sometimes in JUIT.
Definitely, sir. Inshallah, jaldi, sir.
Thank you.
अच्छा, कात्यायनी, you were a gold medalist. You are a gold medalist.
जी सर.
हाँ, तो मुझे ना अभी एक बात याद आ गई, थोड़े मजाक किया. यू आर द लास्ट बैच जिनको बहुत महंगा गोल्ड मेडल मिला है, संभाल के रखना उसको।
बिल्कुल सर।
सुनील सर, आप सही बात बोलते हो सही टाइम पे।
सर इस पे एक छोटा सा एनेक्डोट में बोलना चाहूंगी सर। तो सर कुछ टाइम पहले वी वर शिफ्टिंग आवर होम्स, तो हमने कुछ गोल्ड मेडल्स इकट्ठे किए सर। माय ग्रैंडफादर्स, बोथ माय नाना जी एंड माय दादाजी गोल्ड मेडल्स, then my parents gold medals, and then mine and my sisters. My younger sister graduated from IIT Delhi and she was the institute topper there. तो सर हमने जब इकट्ठे किए सर, we just prayed to the universe saying that this is the real wealth, and in the form of a medal, this is the only wealth we seek. Apart from this, the metals, I mean the metal in the form of jewelry, I hope it never holds value for us. It is only the academic value of these medals that should always motivate us in life.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So, running short of time, Katyayani, if in few seconds you could answer this. Ishan says that why did you left the IT sector? Then I'll move to Achyut for the vote of thanks.
Definitely, ma'am. So, Ishan, I realized I was doing well in the IT sector professionally, but जैसे मैंने एक पुराने क्वेश्चन में आंसर किया कि मेरा सोल उसमें नहीं था. I was doing it, so there's a difference between, I feel between doing something and feeling it in your soul. When I do this job, जो मेरा current profession है, मेरा heart and soul इसके अंदर है. I might be feeling tired or bored with my job at times, but doesn't take away from the fact that my heart and soul is completely in it. I feel completely at ease. Whereas in the IT sector, I might have also done well professionally for myself, but I could never feel internally happy. वो जो सुबह उठ के लगता है ना, at least 30-40% दिनों पे तो लगना चाहिए कि ऑफिस जाने का मन कर रहा है, खुशी हो रही है, वो आज के दिन फील होती है. उस टाइम ऑनेस्टली मेरे को नहीं होती थी. मेरे को प्रोफेशनल अचीवमेंट से अच्छा लगता था, पर वो प्रोसेस मेरे लिए बहुत, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता था कि अभी अच्छा लग रहा है, 10 साल के बाद शायद आई माइट नॉट एंजॉय द प्रोसेस एज मच.
Thank you, Katyayani. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And I would take this opportunity to be thankful to my entire alumni team, my executive team, Achutya and Nitika, and I'm forgetting one more name. Show me your face and I'll know who. Yes, Saransh. Yes, Saransh. They've been a wonderful bunch of students. They've been so actively and so, diligently and religiously working to get all our, alumni in and rolling them in for talks. So, big applaud for all your efforts. Thank you so much, guys. And of course to Saurabh also. And I would also like to put in here that our current Vice Chancellor, Professor Sharma, he's, it's a big thank you to him because he's really helped us into activate our alumni cell. He's been very progressive. He's been very forthcoming, and he's been really motivating us to do a lot under this cell. And the team is just perfect, and I hope Katyayani will be able to see more of you. We'll be able to hold more talks and get more inspiration. So over to Achutya for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Tanu ma'am. So, hello, I'm Achyut Tiwari, Secretary of Alumni Cell. So, I would like to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on the behalf of Alumni Cell. At the outset, we would like to thank our alumna Katyayani ma'am for her gracious presence and impactful word delivered to the students and to the faculty members. We would like to also extend our grateful, heartful thanks to respected Dean of Academics and Research, Professor Gupta, and Registrar Dean of Students, Major General Rakesh Bassi, retired, for accepting our invitation and gracing us with their presence. My heartfelt thanks to all the head of various departments and to the faculty members for their for their presence. And we'd like to express our gratitude to Dr. Saurabh Bansal and Dr. Tanu ma'am for their continuous motivation and for helping us prepare everything detail by detail, for their support and motivation. A special thanks to the organizing team, my friends, for the unflinching support and hard work. A kindful thanks to all the attendees for their active participation, to the JUIT family for helping us grow and thrive. And I'll also request everyone to fill in the feedback form so that we can improve further. Thank you, ma'am.
And
Thank
I would
you.
just like to say one thing. that, thank you, Achyut, because ma'am, he told me that he was trying to get across to me on different platforms. And I don't know how the message did not reach me. So thank you so much for reconnecting me with my college. And thank you to all the team and the faculty. And thank you everyone for making me a part of your Saturday afternoon.
Thank you so much, Katyayani. Wish you all the success, and may you reach more heights, and may God bless you and give you all the patience and motivation, and give you all the the right opportunities and the right path, so that you can excel and put your dreams into actions. Thank you so much, Katyayani. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Basi sir.
Thank you, Katyayani. We would love to see you here in JUIT sometime.
Thank you so much, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very well spoken, Katyayani. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. You can all leave the meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you, Saurabh.